Almost every professional today is juggling a personal Microsoft account, a primary work login, and several client or secondary organizational accounts. Yet despite how common this workflow is, Microsoft built a strict limitation directly into its ecosystem. The native OneDrive desktop app officially supports the local sync of exactly one personal and one work account. It violently rejects attempts to add more. Forcing a second work account triggers immediate sync errors, completely blocking the connection. For power users, this creates a major bottleneck. You end up managing endless browser tabs, trying to resolve constant file sync conflicts, or worse, facing complete lockouts triggered by corporate IT security. You are forced to accept a core trade-off. You can either have the convenience of native local file sync or the infinite scalability of web-based environments. Choosing the correct multi-account workflow means stopping the fight against the software. You must understand your specific user profile, whether a casual dual user or an enterprise contractor. To set up that baseline configuration, you add a secondary account directly through the Windows or Mac system tray settings under Add an Account. Once configured, this provides seamless, independent background local sync for those two specific accounts, placing them neatly in your File Explorer. When syncing two heavy accounts, you can rely on the Files on Demand feature. This tool keeps files in the cloud and only downloads them when opened, saving massive amounts of hard drive space. But this is where the desktop capability stops. There is absolutely zero scalability for a third account on any desktop operating system. The mobile app, however, operates under completely different rules. Unlike the desktop client, the OneDrive iOS and Android apps allow you to sign in to an unlimited number of work accounts. The drawback here is practical. It restricts your multi-account access entirely to a phone or tablet, isolating those files from your main computer workflow. These native solutions work perfectly for everyday users balancing one job and a personal life, but they fail instantly for freelancers and contractors who require full desktop access to multiple organizations. If you need access to 3 or more accounts, the next step up is utilizing distinct browser profiles in Chrome, Edge, or Firefox for each individual OneDrive login. This method gives you unlimited side-by-side account access. Each individual profile maintains a completely independent and secure login session. It also provides a helpful organizational boundary. Your bookmarks, extensions, and browsing histories remain cleanly divided between your different client identities. The main trade-off is that you lose all offline access. You also lose the ability to browse these files natively inside your local File Explorer. Because this is a web-only environment, editing desktop files requires a manual process of downloading the document, making your local edits, and re-uploading it to the cloud. For freelancers who own their hardware and need to juggle multiple clients without mixing data, this is the optimal, cost-free solution. There is a middle ground option known as SharePoint Library Sync. This acts as a bridge between web-based isolation and native desktop convenience. This diagram outlines the workflow. You navigate to a web-based SharePoint document library and click the Sync button in the toolbar. The result is that this specific folder appears natively inside your local File Explorer, clearly labeled under the organization's name. It is strictly limited in scope. This process does not sync a full secondary OneDrive account to your machine, only the targeted library. It also has a strict security requirement. You must already possess authenticated Azure AD access, Azure Active Directory, which is Microsoft's cloud-based identity and access management service, to that specific organization's tenant for the sync to initiate. This makes SharePoint Sync the best tool for internal employees who need persistent local access to specific shared folders from a sister company or a secondary department. Large corporations often utilize conditional access policies. These are strict security rules that heavily restrict how, when, and from where users are allowed to sign in. Standard browser profiles will immediately fail when they encounter these policies, specifically in-tune device management checks or aggressive geofencing that blocks access from unexpected locations. These corporate networks run specific compliance checks before granting access. They verify your operating system version, your current antivirus status, and your device encryption levels. To bypass these enterprise barriers, you need to use sandboxed cloud browser tools. Take a look at this matrix comparing connection types. By assigning a completely unique device identity and proxy location to each individual browser tab, a cloud browser securely sandboxes the session. This architecture allows a single physical computer to present itself as multiple fully compliant devices to different corporate networks simultaneously. This enterprise-grade isolation does come with trade-offs. It requires a constant internet connection and typically involves a monthly subscription fee. But for IT professionals and enterprise contractors, this investment is mandatory. It satisfies strict compliance checks and prevents catastrophic lockouts from client networks. Ultimately, trying to hack the desktop app to hold more than 2 accounts is a complete waste of time. Adopting the correct alternative workflow based on your needs is mandatory. This decision tree maps the optimal paths. Everyday users with 2 accounts should stick to the native desktop app. Freelancers with 3 or more accounts should set up free browser profiles. Enterprise contractors facing strict IT blocks must route their workflow through cloud browser sessions. If your goal is to permanently consolidate rather than juggle active logins, you should look into tenant-to-tenant migration tools like Microsoft Mover to merge your data. Regardless of which method you choose, there is one universal rule: never mix personal data into an organizational OneDrive account. Your corporate IT admins have full visibility and e-discovery rights to all files stored within a work tenant. E-discovery is a process that allows organizations to search and export content for legal or compliance requirements. This applies even if those files are synced to your personal home computer. Software constraints will dictate exactly how you access your multiple accounts, but maintaining strict naming conventions and enforcing rigid data boundaries are your ultimate fail-safes against compliance disasters and lost files.